Hey guys, Prongs Outdoors here. Back at it with the new fishing season. Coming out of the garage this winter, I noticed my line. You can see it here. It's a little bit worn. It's discolored. It's starting to get frayed in certain spots. So as this is my top water fishing rod, I'm going to replace the line on it, and I thought I'd take you along for the adventure. I'll show you just the methodology I use and how I get it done. First of all, you gotta get the line off of here. I'm gonna actually do something kind of silly. I'm gonna cast this out in my yard and then cut it. Didn't quite get all of it, but I got a lot of it. We'll just take the rest of it out like this. Get it all the way down to the end here. You see we're almost there. And then you can see how I tied it last time. We're gonna tie it just like that again, where we don't have to use any kind of backing. No mono backing, no tape, nothing like that. I'll show you the methodology. First of all, let's snip this. I wish I had a pair of actual scissors on me, but I don't. All I have are these snips. So we'll get in there. Like that. It is kind of a windy day, so I want to go pick up my line here, but I also got pizza in the oven, which I'm pretty excited for. All of it except for the last little bit. Look at that. Boom, we have a clean spool. All right, now let's get this, we're gonna get the reel off of here. Now we got the reel off the pole. Set the pole down, look at that gunk. I'm gonna have to clean that all out of there before I put it back. That's from all the weeds and lily pads and stuff I reeled back in throughout all the last year. All right, now, there's a couple things you need. Obviously, you need some new line. You need some snips or some scissors. Probably don't use a knife. I mean, you can, but you know, not worth cutting yourself. Another thing you want to do is when you're doing this is a really good time to clean your reel. It doesn't take much. You can just get a little brush. I'll go get one and I'll show you guys what I do. All right, I couldn't find my brush, so I stole my daughter's. Don't tell her. All right, so we'll get in here where all this gunk is. It gets really gunky in here where the worm gear is. We're just gonna get in there. Get as much of that gunk out as we can. If you have like a high level alcohol, you can use that. You can use water. I mean, obviously this thing see water all the time, but make sure you're doing that with this thing closed, because we're gonna open it up here in a minute. And if you don't have oil to re-oil this thing, you don't want to be touching it with water. But we're just getting all the surface gunk off. Don't forget your mouth is also a tool. All right, so we got all of our line off. What's next? I'm gonna go get a hard surface to put this on, because I don't want any of that lube or any of that oil that's in there to rub off onto the carpet on the boat. One, because I don't want it on my boat, and two, because you just want to keep that on there. I don't have any to replace it with right now, but that is an option. I'll be right back. All right, bingo bango, we got a hard surface. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set this. This is a Curado DC. There's settings here for different wind, different ways that you're using it. All you're gonna do is set this to open. I believe it's behind 1. Maybe I was wrong, maybe it's behind 4. It's been a year since I've done this. And it is, in fact, behind the 4. So you're gonna keep spinning it till it says open. There'll be other methods. There'll be little release levers and things that on different reels, but this is the methodology I use for this reel specifically. Once you have that open, you're just gonna rotate this. It'll click, and you're gonna pull it out. Now this has lots of lube and oil on it, so we're just gonna set this down carefully. We'll actually put it off to the side here. Then we have the spool. All we're gonna do with the spool is grab the little pin, pull it out. And then you can see the inside of that's actually pretty clean, not too bad. So we're gonna set this down. And then we're gonna set our spool down. Hold on, we'll flip this over. Boom, all right. We'll open up our new line. We're putting on some Super Schlick V2 Power Pro, 50-pound test. I found it in this cool color, Moonshine. right, it's got a rubber band around it. Pop the rubber band off. Find the end of your line. Boom, I found the end of my line. Now's where things, this is the part where you probably want to pay attention. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the line. I'm going to feed it through my worm gear. So you see the worm gear here? Just feed it straight through and then feed it out the side. Now, you'll make a mistake. I've made this mistake a few times where I forget to put it through the worm gear or I take it out of the top instead of out the side. But we want this to actually come out of the side. Get a good length of line out and set your reel down. Now comes the fun part. There's my pizza. And just like that, I magically made it back with my pizzas. Set those down here to the side, let them cool off. All right, so we have the line fed through the spider gear, out the side of the reel where the spool is going to go back in, not out of the top. Now what we're gonna do is tie a arbor knot or a slip knot, and that's pretty straightforward. You're gonna take your line, you're gonna tie a knot at the end of the line by just making an overhand, which is just a loop, and then pull it through. And you're gonna make a little knot, just like that, pull it tight. Then you're gonna get your spool. Here, I'll get this closer for you. You're gonna get your spool, you're gonna make sure that it's facing your reel, the long part. You're gonna go over the top of your reel with the line and then back under so that it's just holding it there. I'm gonna set the reel itself down to do the next part. Now we're gonna tie another overhand knot. Oh, got a lot of line here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over the top of the line that I have in this hand with the end of this line. I wish I had a better angle for you guys. I want like that. So I'm taking this, I have it just looped around. I'm gonna put this over the top. I'm gonna bring it back around so it crosses both lines down here. And then I'm gonna put it back through the loop that we made. And make sure that your knot that you tied at the end of the line gets out of this loop. Just like that. Then we're gonna cinch this down to your spool. So that it's nice and tight. You might have to play with it a little bit, but you'll get it there. There we go. And then once you have it cinched down tight to the reel, you're just gonna pull the end that's attached to the spool at the end on there, the other spool, the spool with all the line on it, and then you're gonna pull it until that knot that you made, the original one, catches the one inside. So can't really show you this too well, which stinks, but we'll get there. So I'm just gonna pull, I'm gonna work it back and forth until the first knot you made catches up with the knot that's on the spool. So now it has done that. You can see right there where they met, and then you can clip off this tag end. You can leave a little bit of it and even fray it if you want so that it bites a little better. But I mean, I'm really cranking on this, trying to get that thing as tight as I can. And now we're gonna cut off the tag end. And I'm fraying the end here while I'm doing it. Mostly because these snips aren't very good. So now I left a little piece of fray at the end there. You can just barely see that. So I'm gonna pull this tight again. And then this is the trick, and this is the thing that, there's a truck going by, hold on. Man, he's hauling a big trailer. So this is the trick that other videos won't show you. I saw this in a video a couple of years back. All right, I think he's passed now. This is a trick that I saw in a YouTube video many years ago. It was like just a side thing. It wasn't even what the video was about. But the guy showed it perfectly, and I'm gonna show you the step that makes sure that this isn't gonna come off, because this shouldn't be able to move back and forth at all on your spool. Because what'll happen is if you get a fish on the end of the line and it catches here, it's just gonna fly around. You're not gonna be able to reel anymore. It's just gonna slide. So what you do is you make a loop like this, put it on the reel on this side, the short side, and then pull it tight, and then cinch that down hard. Then you're gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna go around the other side. We're just gonna keep doing this until we can't move that on the reel anymore. Made a loop, pulled it tight, already, we have a lot less like side to side movement. So you can see where the fray is. I can hardly pull this so that it'll go back and forth. I could just barely if I pull hard. So we're gonna keep going because I can move it. I wanna do this until it takes everything in me to stop or to make that thing move. Because if we got a big fish on the end of the line, that's what we're trying to mimic. Try and keep them all together. And I alternate sides. So I'll make the loop and I'll go on this side and make a loop and go on this side. Everything in the world needs balance. And that is the balance for this. Make another loop, go on the long side now. And when I'm saying short and long side, I just mean the long side of the metal piece here and the short side there. And then I'm gonna pull it as tight as I can. We're gonna do a couple more. We'll do another one this way. Pull it tight. And then we'll do another one on this side. And we'll pull it tight. All right, so now I can't move this. I mean, I can pull as hard as I want. That thing's not sliding at all. I don't have any tape. I don't have any backing. All I did was make a bunch of loops. So now that that thing's about as tight as it can go, I'm gonna do one more because you know what? I'm a nervous Nelly. So we're gonna make a loop. We're gonna put it on there, cinch it down, pull. And what it's doing is you're letting this line bite into itself instead of having to have any kind of backing. There you go. So now you can see the frayed part. I cannot pull that either way. Now that that's done, get your reel. You're gonna pull the line all the way back through the worm gear. You're just pulling it, pulling it, pulling it. And then you're gonna place the spool back inside of the reel, like so. And there you go. Now that that's in there, take your plate that you took off. You're gonna put it back in there at an angle, just like how it came off. Push it down, and then rotate it back into place. And then make sure you put this to like 1 or 2 or whatever you had it on before. I think I had it on 2. I might have had it on 3. I think I was out fishing in the wind. And 3 is pretty good for wind. God, I wish I had better fingernails for this. Oh, this is what I get for having good hygiene. All right, so now I have it set back to 3, which is, I believe that's where I had it. Doesn't really matter all that much. Now comes the fun part where we're just gonna reel this line onto here. The trick is you wanna still be able to see a little bit of the side of the spool. Not a bunch, but just enough to where you have a little bit of wiggle room there. And first thing you wanna do is make sure that your drag is cranked. And then you wanna get something solid to hold this. I usually put like a pencil or a pen in between here and then I hold it between my feet and reel it up. And the trick when you're reeling it onto the reel is that you don't want it maximum taut. Like you don't wanna be like struggling to hold that thing. You just want it tight. Kind of like if you were fixing a bird's nest or something, you had a lot of line pulled out, you're gonna hold it with your finger and you're just gonna reel it up. I usually like to put it on the reel or back on my pole, but I'm gonna do it here just like this right now. So I'm actually gonna take this, I'm gonna shove it down here underneath my cover of my boat. I'm gonna grab, this is probably, you might wanna wear a glove or something, but I'm gonna grab this right here like this. And I'm just gonna start reeling it up. And honestly, this isn't tight enough for me, but we're gonna do it anyway. This is why I like to have the pole, because you can get a good grip. But we're just gonna reel it all onto there, nice and tight. I'm holding this thing pretty tight. I know it doesn't look like it, but. And just make sure that when the line's going on there, it's spreading itself out evenly. And we're just gonna keep going. And then when I have this done, I'll tie it back onto my pole for you guys and I'll show you a couple casts with like a frog on the end of the line. Just here in my yard. All right, we're cranking this thing down. We're getting to the point now where you can see the spool is almost full. So I'm just gonna keep cranking it, keep cranking it. And I'm happy right about there. So that's where we're gonna stop. And then don't lose your line back in your spider gear. Cut it up here high and hold it on the end. And there you go. We're gonna put this back on the rod now and I'm gonna show you guys a couple casts with it. All right, I got my line all set up. I got my frog tied on the end. Here's what the spool looks like with the line on it. I'll give it a cast. And it was buttery smooth. Look at that. Another pro tip, make sure you reset your drag so you don't just crank on it. I have 50-pound test on here, so I don't really have my drag set most of the time, but it's a good tip. Whew, that was a smooth cast. It's like I'm doing ballet out here. But all right, guys, that was my quick little guide there to show you guys how to tie onto a baitcaster. I hope you learned something. Make sure you use that loop method. Make sure you listen to all the little tips and tricks, and I'll have a lot of videos coming out here this summer. Plan on doing some more vlog style stuff, so stick around and please subscribe. Thanks for watching.